Today I'm going to tell you a story, the story of my life, the story of something that changed my life forever. Once upon a time, I was 25 years old. I used to sell trucks for one of India's leading truck manufacturers. And I'll give you a quick background. Me and my husband, we were in college together and on student loans, of course. And the moment we passed out of college, within 3 months, we married. And within 1 year of marrying, we bought our first house, and another 6 months later, we bought a car. We were trying to catch up with lifestyle and expenses. We were struggling to make ends meet. Salary would come in on the first, and by the 10th, it would all be gone. We got into the habit of the CC, the credit card. I knew if we had a medical emergency, we didn't have enough reserves and we will have to be taking a personal loan to handle that expense. That was the kind of situation, and this was driving me really mad. When I was looking at for revenues to earn extra money, like stock trading every day and some multi-level marketing, and I was just getting crazy about the situation of not having enough money at the end of the month. And one particular day, the maid was working in the house, and she was washing vessels, and she'd left the tap open, water was just flowing, and she was slowly soaping the vessels. And that I shouted at her saying, if you waste water, money gets wasted in that house. And that's why I'm not able to save any money, as if she was the reason for all our financial difficulties. And I happened to read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that particular book, it impacted me so much that I couldn't sleep for 3-4 days after I read that book. There was a particular concept in that book that was very interesting. It was like a slap on my face. It was called the cashflow quadrant. I don't know if you've seen it, but it works something like this. It explains how the rich handle their money and how the middle class handle their money. So typically a middle class person earns money from a job. He earns a salary, his income comes in as salary, and the money first goes to pay off all the liabilities, which is usually a student loan, a car loan, a home loan, a personal loan, whatever, and then whatever's left is used to handle some expenses, and that's the money just goes out. Differently, a rich person handles money this way. He first uses his money to buy assets. So he buys a house, he buys some bonds and stocks, and he writes a book, and he's got some intellectual property. And all of this gives him income in the form of a rent or royalty or interest or dividends. And he uses that money to pay off his, usually no loans, but expenses. And the assets keep building. More and more assets keep building, and he builds a circle where it is self-fulfilling, and that's why the rich get richer. This was an amazing eye-opener for me. I decided that day that I was going to take control of my financial situation, and I changed jobs, I redid my loans, and I went out finding about investment options and got some basic habits together. Cut 13-14 years now, I'm 39 and I'm semi-retired. I do this work for fun of meeting new people and having fun conversations. My husband plans to retire in the next 3-4 years too, so that he can pursue his sporting ambitions and be around for our son, who will be a teen then. My son goes to an international school, pursues a very expensive sport. We travel well twice a year. We recently bought a house in Bombay, and we were fortunate to borrow not more than 40% of the project cost, and God willing, all things go well, we should be out of that loan in the next 30 months. Through the process of buying this house, we have not had to liquidate any of our investments, and nor did we stop our regular investments. We continue to save about 40% of our income to build our assets, and as I last saw, our portfolio has given us a healthy 13-14% return. If two totally clueless, indisciplined, lazy people can manage to do this, then I can't believe why anybody else can't. All that you need is of course, the blessings of God and your elders, and the resolve to take control of your financial life, and if possible, somebody who knows financial matters and somebody who cares for you to handhold you through this process. If you want to know more about the specific actions I took and the specific places where I invested money and more such stuff, reach out to me.